that brings out that net. What's the word I'm looking for? That brings out the net design really well. So that's that done. Next, I don't need any of the metallic paints that are in there. Let's see what else we have in the line of metallics. I may have to go hunting in a second. No, I don't, because it's right there, the one I want. We're going to highlight these metallics, and to highlight them we're going to use another metallic colour, Shining Silver. This is not part of the metallic colours set, this is a standalone paint, but it's not mixing either. Bear with me. What the heck's going on? Get in there and mix. It does have the two agitator balls in it, so giving it a good shake should I think there's some build up in the lid that's stopping it from closing properly. I am going to have to do something about that, but I'll do it off camera. Okay, so I'll use this one here. Now we're not doing a great deal with this. I think what I will do, however, is just add a little spot of the colour we used for the helmet and the shoulder guard, which was the Night Scales, which is part of our sponsorship with Army Painter from the metallic colours set. So I'll add that to the palette. We'll get a little bit of it, pop it over here, and a little bit of the silver and pop that in, just to make it a little bit paler. It's like adding white to a colour or a very pale cream to a colour to make it paler. We're doing exactly the same but using silver instead, and we'll just add some highlights to the top part of the helmet. There we go. And there is a ridge that goes down the front of his face. I will add it to that as well. And to underneath the eyes. There we are. Now, doing something similar on the shoulder, we will add a little bit of this to any raised areas. Like so. There is a an area there that needs doing, one on the top here, and then this edge, and that edge. No, that doesn't seem to have one. There we are. And we'll just go lightly in there, and then we'll hit it with just a little of the straight silver, but I'm not cleaning the brush, so it's still picking up a little bit of the darker colour on it, and we can add that to the very high points of anywhere where we've done this colour. There we go. Not touching everywhere that we've already been with this, just certain areas, just small details picked out. And just like that, the armour is done. Next we need to do the tip of the spear, and I'm just going to go over with just a little bit of this shining silver, and we'll do something very similar with it on the nets, where we'll pick out some of the more prominent looking areas. There we go, that looks nice. And now just around the yellow bits here, we can do the what do you call it? Just do around the edge of the middle bits. And I think that's it. Oh, and let's just give the very top edge of this crest a touch of it as well. That will do. So I think we're getting near ready to call this finished, insofar as how long the painting's gone. Not finished totally, because we have to do the base, but you know, we are getting there with certain parts. Yeah. Now the next step is the skin. And we're doing the move over there. Oh, where's my water thingamabob? So, next job. Let's finish highlighting the skin areas, and for that we need the palest skin tone that we're going to be using on this mini, which is Dorado Skin. I nearly said Dorado Flesh then. It's Dorado Skin. Now, that's had a shake. Let's see if it's okay to use. Pop a little bit down there. We're not going to use this neat yet. We're going to take some of the Jasper Skin and mix in a little bit of that, just to get a slightly paler tone. And we're going to run that down the top of each and every raised area. Now we're not covering the whole of the raised areas. Remember what I said last time, we want to show some of the previous colours, previous steps colours and tones. And we're not going on side, so it's just the areas that are going to be hit by light, which I imagine to be coming from the top, very top of the mini. I always imagine that's the case, so that when they turn round they're not looking odd with the light coming at a certain way, if you get me drift. It's alright being very artistic and going with the light coming from one side, but if you're doing this on the gaming minis, when the mini has to turn around for whatever reason, it looks really odd that mini, the light is hitting from one side and all the other minis are hitting from another side. So I always like to have it so that the minis looks as though the light is coming straight down from the top. It's just a neutral way of doing the light, I think. Not that there's anything wrong with having like a side lighted mini, but I would use that just for like display minis, not for minis that are going to be used in game, because as I say, I just think it looks odd when there's minis on the table and they look as though the light's coming from different, or being hit by the different angles, even though it should be from the same angle. So we'll just add some of this light colour here and there. Now there's nothing stopping me taking this steps further and actually doing this step between the darkest and the lightest, darkest and the mid-tone, darkest tone and the mid-tone rather. After you do the wash, re-establish the dark tones, and then mix a little bit of the mid-tone in with the dark tone to go over that, and then build it up that way. There's nothing wrong with doing that, but I just don't want to go overboard. I just want to make it look decent enough for the tabletop. And that is enough for what I want to do at the moment. So next step is the next step. Let's have a look. Yes, there is a next step, because I need to do the highlighting for that little bit of cloth that's on the spear. So using just a little bit more of the skeleton bone into this greeny colour, we'll just add some little touches of paler colour onto it. Don't have to be incredibly picky in where you put it, because it's only a small amount of room, and that won't do. And next, let's add a little bit of a paler colour still. Where's it gone? Oh, it's there. One that you've seen me use possibly once or twice, I don't know. Don't want that one, don't want that one, don't want that one. I'll stick with this. Spaceship exterior, sorry. We'll pop some of this down. Just a little bit. Not a lot. And there we go. We're mixing some of the skeleton bone, and some of this greeny colour, just to take the stark shade off it, or stark tone off it. We don't want it incredibly white. Now here we're just going over a few little areas, just again to take off the what do you call it, just under little raised areas, just to take off any sort of flatness that you might see. There we are. And just touch here and there. Same on here. Obviously we're adding less and less to the piece as we go on. There we are. Just a touch here, a touch there, and that will do the job. We're just trying to make it look like a 3D thing, even though it is 3D. I know it's 3D, but we're trying to make it look like more 3D than a 2D model. Painting it in one colour and not highlighting it just takes that 3D look and hides it away somewhere. So that's why you need to highlight it, because otherwise it just looks flat. Now then, let's get in with the flesh tones. The final highlight for the flesh, here we are, and this is the Dorado skin, and this is the very tops of the skin. A few little dabs here and there, just exactly where you think the light is going to hit if it's shining from the top. But you know, the sun, for example, the sunlight is coming directly from overhead. There you are. So some areas you'll see more than others. There we go. So, but make sure it's not a great deal of this colour, because it will take off some of the previous highlighting steps we've done, and we don't want that. We just want little touches here and there for some parts of it. We want to just pick out where this is going to go. Some areas can have more, some areas can have less, depending on the bone structure or the muscle structure of the mini. There we go. That looks about right. Let's have just a little bit on this, on the top edge of this thigh muscle, because I think the light's going to hit that, definitely. And it's also going to hit the toes. And that, I think, is about it for this mini. I'm quite impressed with the way that is looking. It just needs sanding up, vernishing, sanding. No, get it right, Stephen, get it right. We need putting the varnish on it. And once the I said get it right, not make it up as you go along. We want to get the sand on it. So, for sand, we get our Mod Podge, PVA glue, whichever one you want to use. I'm using Mod Podge because it's to hand. And you put down Mod Podge, basically a white glue, onto the base here. Make sure it's covering all over the base, but you don't want it too much on the what you call it, at the feet of the Mini, because are supposed to be sat, or the feet are supposed to be on top of the sand, not buried underneath. That's why some people actually do the Minis where they do the base first and glue the Mini to it. I don't like doing that. I much prefer doing it this way, even though, as I say, at times it can look as though the feet are buried into the sand. I just think, or the basing material, I just think it just looks nicer and it's easier for me to concentrate on painting the Mini rather than trying to avoid getting paint all over the base that I've spent ages doing. In this case we're not spending ages doing it because it's a very simple basing technique we're doing, because it's in a gladiatorial arena, so we don't particularly want, and if you'll pardon me, I'm just trying to find my basing material. Here we are. I need to take the Mini off this little painting stand or grip I have. Okay, it's an old Games Workshop paint pot. I know you can all tell what it is, but it does a brilliant job as a paint stand. And in this, all I have is some children's play sand mixed in with a wee bit of ballast. I think it's medium ballast from I'll find out on it. I'll have a nosy in a second, see which one it is. I think I've showed it you before what I'm using. It's this stuff from Woodland Scenic. It's coarse ballast. That's the one I'm using. I got a big tub of that, and as I said, put it in there, and then when you take it out, it looks like you're on the sandy bit of a Roman arena. May need a little bit more of that around the edges. Bear with me. Every now and again, for some strange reason, I find it doesn't stick to the edges terribly well, and I have to go back and put some more of this Mod Podge on, or let's say white glue, whatever it is. I'm using, I think I might use a little bit more under this net because it's not set straight. I think it's supposed to actually sit flat, but it's not doing, unfortunately. Anywho, so neither here nor there, we're just trying to get all of this covered in the basing material. There we go. I'll come wash the brush out. And pop it to one side, put the lid of the Mod Podge back on, and put that to one side, and then let's have a look how this is looking now. That looks much better. As you can see, I've added more Mod Podge to the inside and the underside of the net, so it looks now as though it is touching the ground. And then we can just pop this back on here, put the lid back on the basing material so we don't lose it. Yes, and this tub is from a Chinese takeaway that we frequent. These tubs are always handy for basing material. But there we are, that is it. All we need to do now is just go around the edge once more with some of the Vallejo mahogany, paint the base up once it's dried, give it a varnish, as I say, first of all gloss varnish to protect it all, then a matte varnish. You can use whatever varnish you want to, that's what I do, and then in certain areas like that part of the thigh there where it's looking a bit rough, and this part of his back, I'll just add some blood effects to make it look as though he's been injured, and that's him done. So, thanks for joining me in this video, or this short video series. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks again to Army Painter for providing the metallic coloured paint set for me to use. Very grateful to you. I love the colours, I love the way the paints go on. I know I've only used possibly one or two, in fact I've used three of the paints, and I've used the Fairy Dust effects paint on this mixed in with the yellow to do this mini, and if all the paints go on like this, you know, I can't say anything bad about them. I love the way they've gone on. Very smooth, they really do cover. They've got good coverage and they look absolutely stunning. So, oh, and I also forgot, thanks to Andy from Wigan Wargames for providing me with these minis to paint. I'd like to say I've enjoyed putting them together and painting them. However, I'd like to say I've enjoyed painting them and putting them together. I've not enjoyed having to repair them every time bits have snapped off when they've hit something. I'm surprised this spear hasn't broke yet. What we have had break is this hand off this fella, and this part here off this fella. So I am very nervous at painting some of these. Very nervous, but the end justifies the means, I believe, because these are really nice minis. So we have quite a few more to go in this particular series of painting videos, and we will be adding more and more and more to come with these, and hopefully you're enjoying watching these videos as much as I have enjoyed doing these videos for you. If you've learned anything, you've got anything out of these videos, and you'd like to show your appreciation, then please give me a like, subscribe if you want to, hit the notification bell so you'll see all new videos as they appear. And if you'd like to help financially, you can do that as well with Patreon, or you can buy me a coffee as well. All links are down in the description. So as I say, do that if you think you've learned anything from this, or this become of any use, or you've picked up any tips or whatever, or you just enjoyed the video. But that being said, it's time for me to say farewell. So until the next video, as always, stay safe and take care, God bless, and bye for now.